All right, so welcome to another episode of the Otaku Informers. This time we're going to be talking about She-Hulk. So,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the
Roar,
first. Sorry?
roar.
So, we're going to be talking about the first episode of She-Hulk. Hopefully, next time we can talk about episode 2 and episode 3.
Hmm.
So, I know episode 2 aired at 3 a.m. last night in Canada. I tried. I was checking at 10 p.m. I was like refreshing. I was like, has it come out yet? But no, I think they're doing it like they were doing for the other shows. So, Felipe, what did you think about episode 1 of She-Hulk?
I think it's pretty well structured and everything. Like there's a potential where they're going. I see that they're gonna like be tying a lot more characters together to like build a world, and I enjoy the humor. It feels like a lot more mature compared to like Miss Marvel. I mean, it's a lawyer versus a teenager, but like it just feels different. Feels like very. It's not typical Marvel humor. It just feels its own kind of unique humor.
What did you think about episode 1, Matt?
Basically the same as Felipe. Just really impressed with the first episode. The humor did feel different than most Marvel stuff. It felt more mature, like Felipe said. Just and the pacing was good, except for the end of episode one. It kind
Mm,
of just like rushed a few things, and then I was like, okay, there we go. But like for 95% of the episode, I thought the pacing was great. They were able to develop all the main points. They got through her origin story very well. Like, the show isn't about her becoming She Hulk, it's about her being She Hulk
mm,
and just doing her thing, right? So that's
mm.
why I like how they're like, yeah, 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 there's the origin story. She got in a car wreck with Bruce. His blood got into her. There we go. She's a Hulk. Let's move on, right? I was like, okay, I like this. It's not like Miss Marvel where it was just like, okay, the whole series is about her becoming Miss Marvel, right? Even though I like Miss Marvel, but just as an example.
Yeah.
How about you?
So, I had mixed feelings about episode 1. There's some things I liked, some things I didn't. I just start with what I didn't like, which was not big things, it's not a big deal, but the actress, the character who plays She-Hulk, I just found her very arrogant in the sense like she spent a lot of time being like take I loved all the scenes with Hulk Mark Ruffalo, but I was like she was putting too much emphasis on trying to be better than him, on trying to remind him that she was better than him. She was like, "Oh, so I'm better than you and everything and everything." So at some point I was like, "All right, we get it." She was like, "Oh, because like look, I 100% consider myself a feminist, but I did feel like this episode was putting it a little bit too much down our throat. In the sense she kept saying like, "Oh, because women are better than men, because women go through this and this that and this," which is funny. It's okay. I mean, it's not untrue. She was not saying untrue things, but I just found it just a little too much for me in episode 1. Where I was like, "All right, we get it. You don't have a second personality. Like, it was just a little too much for me. Like, at some point at the end, she was starting to annoy me. But I liked the show. And me, there was one thing that at the beginning, before watching this, I think a problem for me was that expectations. I really liked the trailer, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's kind of like Ally McBeal, but for superhero." When I was a kid, I was a huge fan of Ally McBeal, which is a lawyer show with Callista Flockhart, which is now married to Harrison Ford. She's been married to Harrison Ford for a long time, and she had her own lawyer show where she talked to the camera and stuff like that. Well, actually, I don't remember if she talked to the camera, but I think she did sometimes with the little baby running through the screen. People who've watched Ally McBeal, which is very few people because it's a show from the 90s. So I was really expecting Ally McBeal. It was not as good as Ally McBeal. I was just I guess that's another problem with expectations, right? I just had high expectations. But let me tell you what I did love about this show. I loved the Hulk Mark Ruffalo. I thought every scene with him were really great. I loved when they were training, and I actually liked the CGI. I had no problem with CGI. And
Yeah.
I really liked like how he had his bar. I really liked all their conversations, and I liked how the what you said, Matt, is really for me the best thing about the show, which is it's a show about her being Hulk and not her becoming Hulk. And she talks a
Right.
lot about, oh, so I'm a Hulk now. I like how they're like, oh, I'm a Hulk. And during the show, okay, one thing that I was very confused about. Is it in the comics that if your blood mixes with the blood of a Hulk, you become a Hulk? Is that from the comics?
So, kind of, but just a brief thing in the episode. Hulk, when he's explained to her what happened after she turned and everything, and she's in the clubhouse or the bar area,
Yeah, the
he says,
clubhouse.
"You're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the clubhouse. Our family's blood is our genetics. Our family genetics are different enough that we can handle the gamma radiation enough, and that's why we
Mm,
become Hulks instead of just dying."
mm,
So normally, normal humans, if they had that much gamma radiation put into their system, they would just die. But
mm.
because of some genetic thing with um, the Banner family, they're able to turn into the Hulk instead of dying. That's how
So,
they do.
so you see, that's the thing. So this genetics thing, I was just a little surprised, just because I was like, wait, so being the Hulk is like being a vampire? Like you just have to like drink somebody's blood and you become Hulk?
I mean, I don't remember much, but I think Bruce's dad, he was a scientist, and he's been experimenting on himself and Bruce. That's why from the get-go, when Bruce turned into the Hulk, he hulked out, but he didn't die from the beginning because his dad was already experimenting with his
Hmm.
own blood, and that's why when like Bruce himself started experimenting,
Okay.
he already had the genetic modifications or whatever. That's
Me,
what I remember.
I see. I mean, that makes sense if the way that you're explaining it. Me, just I was surprised while watching it because I was like, I thought that becoming the Hulk was a little bit like becoming the Flash. Like you needed like
Right.
all of this chemical stuff and then a lightning bolt to hit at the perfect time for like all of these specific things to happen. Because I was like, otherwise, someone can just capture Bruce Banner or like just
Yeah.
immobilize the Hulk for a couple of seconds and then stab him and then put your arm and then stab yourself and then become a Hulk. You know what I mean? Like that's just what I was confused. It's just I didn't know, that like it was blood mixing. So I
I
guess
did
it's yeah,
like all the mentions of Tony and
yeah,
how it was the Science Bros, right? It was like, okay, you could see that Tony and Bruce actually were friends.
yeah,
Like they made the bar together. You could see their initials. Like
true.
you could see Bruce was still missing Tony. He was like, "Yeah, we had good times, Tony and I here." I was like, that hits
That's
the
true.
heart. Oh, I still miss you. I still miss you.
That's what I meant. Like I loved all the scenes with Hulk. You know what I mean? Like Mark Ruffalo is a great actor, and yeah, I thought all of that stuff was great. But I'm also wondering, we're gonna get a Red Hulk at some point in this show, right? Like I feel like Red Hulk has to be introduced at some point.
I have a theory about that,
Go ahead.
but it kind of deals with episode two, so I won't say
You've
anything.
watched episode two?
Yeah, I
Yes, of
watched
course.
episode.
Well, I was
Yeah.
sleeping when it came out, so all right. So let's save this for next week, or
Yeah.
we'll do episode two and episode three,
Mm, but
or we just do episode two.
without spoiling anything for episode two, um, some of your complaints, Rashid,
Mm-hmm.
get. I think they get fixed in
Good.
episode two. I think you'll like episode two more.
Like I'm like I like the concept. I do want to see her as a lawyer, as a Hulk, but it's just well, it was just episode one. It just things were going very fast. Things were going very fast. There were
Yeah.
a lot of things happening. Like she becomes she masters her powers very quickly too. I'm not saying she's a Mary Sue, but she had very little. There was a training montage. There was a training montage. It's okay. I don't want
She's a
to.
lawyer.
Yeah.
He is a lawyer. She's a quick
Very right.
study, so it
True.
makes perfect sense.
I did really like when like he does the clap, which is
Yeah.
I don't know, I forgot how this movie's called, and then she does it, and then she realizes it's not as powerful, but she can do it quicker and do it in a succession. Honestly, this
Yeah.
kind of like made me want to play as a Hulk in something. You know, like it made me remember Marvel vs. Capcom when I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, in particular when it came out, and the Hulk was one of my favorite character, and I was just like destroying with him, you know. So I was like, yeah, I could see playing with a She-Hulk.
She's actually strong in Super Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, really? I'd never played Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Oh wow, we've already talked 11 minutes about this. I mean, was there more to say? There was something with Steve Rogers, right? A lot of people were talking, like Chris Evans himself tweeted something. He tweeted like the emotes where he was like,
The post-credit scene. Did you not stick around to see the post-credit scene?
Yeah,
"Oh, I
episode 2
did
has
not.
it too.
I did."
Oh,
Dude,
come
I
on, Rashid. That's the
completely
best part.
Hang on, can
It's a
I?
Marvel.
Wait,
How
wait.
can you not do this, Hershey? It's a Marvel show. It's
I'm
everything
gonna.
Marvel. I mean,
You,
There's actually going to be a post-credit scene for every episode. They already said that.
guys,
So current episode.
you're gonna get my
they said,
you're gonna get my live reaction of the post-credit scene right now.
oh, live reaction.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my God! Look, I pressed stop in the during the credits. Oh my God! Let me see. Like, I was like, why are people talking about Steve Rogers? Oh, there it is.
Right.
So much for his country and he never got to experience sex. Did you see that ass? Like, that ass did not deserve to die a virgin. It's like so sad.
Steve Rogers is not a virgin.
Okay.
He lost his virginity to a girl in 1943.
There you go.
on the
Captain
US Pro
America.
Yes,
Fuck.
I knew it.
First,
Tour. You're not drunk?
Captain
and he got
America.
cut at the right moment.
Fuck.
Very subtle.
Okay, that's why people were tweeting Captain America Fox.
Yeah. And even
That-
Captain America was like, yeah.
Okay, you
I
see
think it was supposed to be planned. It was like kind of like spur of the moment, like improv, and that makes more sense too, I guess.
Really? That was improv?
I'm not too sure. Like I've been watching like a few videos talking about reviews and theories to like from one episode, and a lot of stuff came out. So maybe I'm mixing things up.
That was a
But
good post-credit
Steve
scene. Okay.
Rogers tweeted that after the scene came out, and I'm like, yeah, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Chris. Yeah.
like you gotta
That's good.
love when people just like play along certain jokes like that. That's yeah.
That was
But as
good.
far as like the universe, I think that if this one theory is correct, we're building up to a Planet Hulk movie.
I would love that. Like,
Like
I was
Planet
gonna
I think
save
War
that.
Hulk.
Yeah, I was gonna save that for the episode 2 discussion because that.
there's okay. I don't know much about Planet Hulk. All I know is that in Thor Ragnarok, I know there was something where because I know there was like a comic book where Hulk ends up on this planet where he becomes kind of like a god or something. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
That's a World War Hulk.
That's World War
So-
Hulk.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So
yeah.
that comic is Hulk goes to Sakaar, which is the name of the planet that was in Ragnarok.
Okay.
So that's why people are like, okay, that's the connection. That's the connection. Sakaar is the same is the planet where World War Hulk happened. So they're gonna do something like that. And in Ragnarok they ended up not doing it, but in our episode 2 discussion I'll be talking about that.
All right, so we can record again. I mean, early next week before episode 3 comes out, so we can talk about episode 2. Otherwise, we'd have to wait until to record after a Thursday because, or on that Thursday, so I would have time to watch it. Episode 3, since episodes come out on Thursday at 3 a.m. here in Canada, and it's Thursday at 8 a.m. Well, 9 a.m. now. So, all right, so that was our conversation on She-Hulk.
All
Stay
right.
informed.
Stay informed, guys.
Yeah.